Hi there. You are here with Pastor John Robinson
Hey guys.
and Family Ministries Director Paige Folk. We are doing our training this year on video
Another 2020 innovation.
instead of the large in-person gathering, which I'm very sad that we're going to miss that.
Yeah.
But we are hoping that this video will prove to be beneficial for you guys. We're going to overview some really good policies and all kinds of information that you may need to know. And so we're going to start off with something fun.
Yeah.
Yay! We have some Amazon gift cards, and we are going to be showing you in just a minute this childcare guidelines document, which will be linked in the email that this video comes on. And what we're going to do is have you guys read through it in its entirety. And at the end, you'll do a little DocuSign, a digital signing, and send it back to us. So everybody that does that gets put into a drawing, and we have 3 Amazon gift cards for the winners. So
It's Amazon Prime week too, so like hopefully you guys can get some good deals, maybe some like Christmas presents. Hopefully offset some of those costs. Something nice for yourself. I mean, it's getting cold outside. A weighted blanket, maybe. I mean, who knows? So we definitely want to encourage you guys with that, and so hopefully that'll be helpful for you.
Sky is the limit.
It's true. Well,
so.
The gift card is the limit, but
yes.
Hey, that document that we're going to be sending out attached to this email is really important. It's one of those things that we review annually. We need to review annually. It's part of kind of how we need to function legally here at Liberti Church and working with our children. So we would love for you guys to sign that, get that back to us that you have seen it. Because we can't gather together, it's important for us to know that that information has gone out, that you've received that, looked through it. Plus, there's some really good, helpful, and useful tips and policies and like the way we should do things, and good reminders for us as we continue to live, speak, and serve as the very presence of Jesus here at Liberti Church and working with our children. So,
right. So I'm going to try and make this as short and sweet as possible, but also giving you as much information as we can in the time that we have.
Yeah.
So for an overview of what the document holds, and I just want to highlight some things to make sure that you are aware of them. So as you know, we have both great honor and privilege as well as a very sacred responsibility when we're serving the children at Liberti Church. Because of our desire for that high standard of care, we want to be detailed and clear in our guidelines for you, the volunteer, so that we can set you up well for the good work that we're doing. There are 3 parts in the training document, and the points are screening, best practices and supervision in the classrooms, and protocol for reporting any suspicious behavior. So in my email, you'll find the document, like John said, and there'll be a place for you to digitally sign that you have read it in its entirety. So I'm just going to highlight a few things to make sure that we're super clear and know what you're getting into. So part 1, the screening. The first action for our screening process is a 2-step background check. There is always an invite from our third-party organization, Checker, and they run most of it. They go 3 out of 4 of the checks that are required through the state go through Checker. And then the last one, the fingerprinting from the FBI, either we'll go through the steps to get you set up for an appointment, or if you've lived in PA for 10 consecutive years, you actually can sign an affidavit and you don't have to go in to get your fingerprints if that's the case. So they are needed every 5 years. So if you ever get an email from me saying that we need to redo your clearances, that's why. So also just real clear about the fact that we keep those secure and confidential. No one that doesn't need to know gets to see those clearance checks.
Yeah, and if you have them done through your work already, we would be glad to receive
Yes.
those, but we will need those on file before we can clear anyone to work in our children's ministry.
Right. So if you're a teacher or someone that already does work with kids, you probably have those already taken care of. And you can just email those to me. Or any family ministry director of the future. All right, so a few things about our volunteers. They must be at least 17 years of age. We do, however, welcome junior assistants that start at the age 12. I know a lot of our kids love to hang out and help with the classrooms, and that's fine as long as they're approved by the leadership. But they're only there as helpers. They cannot ever be held responsible for the classroom, so they can't ever be left alone or in charge of the classrooms by themselves.
Yeah.
Once the checks are complete, we'll do personal discussions with any potential volunteers. Usually an in-covenant interview will suffice for that conversation, but if you're new to the community and you're a regular attender, then we'll just do ongoing training, shadowing, and conversations for further confirmation before you're placed on the ongoing schedule. So those are things that will continue as you are becoming part of our community, and just to keep us involved in where you are with our community. So that's part one. Part two are the best practices and supervision in the classroom. Our primary goal, as you know, in Liberti Nursery and Kids, is to show children the love of Christ and to give parents and others in the church the opportunity to participate in the discipleship of their children. So the following practices are all in light of that primary goal. Number one, there will always be 2 background-checked compliant volunteers with the children. That is always a little dicey with the kids that are able to go to the bathroom by themselves. So some of the policies we have in place are having a third person come in just for the big bathroom break, or taking them all together at the same time and opening the doors. There are different ways that you can make sure to keep things above board and making sure that everyone feels safe and feels comfortable in being with the kids without being left alone. So as far as policies for the volunteers, please arrive 15 minutes prior to the start of service and make sure to print off a name tag for yourself. That helps parents see who's in charge of the classroom. You're able to be there to greet them, and they know who is in. And the way that you do that is just on the tablet in the hallway. You put your phone number in. Always check the pencil next to your name to see that you're put in the correct room, because sometimes you switch rooms, and so just click the pencil, pick which room you'll be in that morning, and then print it off, and it's ready to go. As you are interacting with the kids, always please keep me informed of any challenges that you face. For example, if a child is seeming really bored during class, it could be that he or she needs to move up to the next classroom. We are very flexible in the ages of, it's more about developmental capacity when they're super young. So just let me know if either someone is feeling like they're not having fun anymore, or if maybe if you think they shouldn't move up yet because they're feeling a little timid and they don't like the thought of going to a different room. Always let me know if there's a challenge in that area, and I can, I'll connect and team up with the parent as well. Same with discipline challenges, or if there are any other ongoing difficulties. I'm here to support you and help you, and I want to solve your problems and help the classes run smoothly and be fun for the kids. So just keep me abreast of any situations that you have. There are also additional resources in this document that I'm not going to go in detail about, but it helps you navigate separation anxiety with the kids, health and wellness of the children, discipline and sanitation guidelines. Of course, it's a little bit different right now with COVID, so I'm going to go over that in a little bit. But our typical and general views on how to keep the classroom and the kids sanitary are all laid out in here. So there is also a section on appropriate contact and communication with the children, and this one can be a really delicate subject, and we want to be specific and above reproach throughout our discussion. So I want to highlight this in advance of you reading that section. It is not our goal to be needlessly awkward or legalistic. Rather, we want to take seriously the role we play in these children's lives. This role includes teaching children how to touch adults that are not their parents or guardians, and to discourage certain kinds of affection that could contribute to them being unsafe with other, less trustworthy individuals. So this is a training ground for them, and you are giving them crucial skills for their safety and confidence. So I hope that you just think of that as you're reading that difficult section. And lastly, always check the pickup code as the parents are collecting their children at the end of the service. That's for your safety and theirs and the parents. So always make sure they have their little pickup code on the sticker and it matches the sticker on the child's name tag. The last part 3 of the child care guidelines is the reporting obligation that we have as volunteers with kids. So all actual or suspected child abuse needs to be reported immediately to Childline, which is a state website and organization that deals with any abuse. The website and phone number are on the document that I put in your email. Also, under the text of the email, I put that in bold right there, so you don't even have to open the document if you can't remember where it is. It's in the email. If you have any questions about that, let me know. Once that is done, then also notify me that you did tell Childline that you saw or suspected child abuse. Now, if you just see suspicious behavior and you're just not sure, that would be a time to notify solely the elders. So those allegations will be handled swiftly, seriously, and without prejudgment on the situation. And that's something that we will take very seriously as we go forward. Our goal in any of these situations is to provide pastoral support and care to both any victims or accused and their families to restore such persons to wholeness. So this is what would happen if that does come about. If the person being accused is an employee or volunteer, that person will immediately be removed from all duties requiring contact with minors until the allegations are resolved. If they are substantiated, then that person shall be permanently relieved of his or her ministry. Once we determine the necessity of informing the proper authorities, we will fully cooperate with the civil authorities under the guidance of an attorney. So those are the 3 main pieces of our child care guidelines and statement on security for our kids. Anything to add on that, John?
Well, and these are ultimately for our good and for the flourishing of our children. We really want to protect our families. We want to protect our children. We want our volunteers to feel equipped and prepared for serving. And so go through that. Don't just assume that you know everything. Everything could be just a good reminder. And I want to encourage you guys as you go through those, take those things seriously. If you have any questions about any of those policies or guidelines, we would welcome those questions so we can clarify those more, maybe even make that more clear in the future. So we would definitely welcome that. But Paige, you'd mentioned a little bit about some of the things that are changing from like a cleaning and policies for like our COVID guidelines. If you'll go into that a little bit, I think that might be helpful.
That would be right. So you may have heard of a little thing called COVID-19.
Yep.
little bug that's been going around. So we have some specific guidelines during this time to make sure that we try to keep any spread to the minimum of any illness, really. But especially right now, obviously, is even more intense. So there are a couple of ways that we are taking that into consideration. Number one is the amount of kids in the classroom, and that is something that we are limiting to make sure that there are not too many that we can't keep them separated during snack time or keep them separated during activities. We're not doing any shared crafts, things like that in the classroom. Those are some of the policies we have in for that. But for your own germ safety and for the kids, we have a couple things we're doing. Number one, we are providing each volunteer with a face shield.
It's very nice.
Yes, so this is a face shield that you can have, and we'll put your name tag on the side here.
It's personalized.
It's a personalized face shield. You can clean it and reuse it every time you come, and there's a spot in our storage closet that you can keep these stored and leave them here. It helps so that the kids can see your face, you can breathe a little bit better, and still maintain your sanitary face masks, as we all need to wear so often these days. The second thing, as far as cleaning, is this bottle of disinfectant. It's a special blend of CDC recommended disinfectant, and it's got essential oils and alcohol, rubbing alcohol, and all kinds of stuff. So the cool thing about this is that it doesn't require wiping. To disinfect, you just spread all of the toys on the floor, you spray it with this real, just a light layer, and then you just let it sit there for 3 minutes. Let the alcohol evaporate, and then it's disinfected, and it's all approved by the CDC. So
yeah. And there's no harmful chemicals inside of it either. So we're not looking at like Lysol or
right.
Like a heavy bleach. So even the the toys that kids may put in their mouths or close to their face or on their face, whatever kids do with the toys, it will be sanitized, but it'll also not be harmful for them. So
up their nose.
Yeah,
whatever.
I mean,
you never know.
Yeah.
So those are the cleaning practices that we have. That is definitely needed in between services, and then after the second service, we do that. So
yeah,
we can talk about.
Yeah, and in that, like with some of our guidelines, some of the flexibility that's going to be needed. And many of you guys have been so gracious to us as we've launched classes, as we're trying to get things going. Continue to remain flexible in that. Sometimes we'll have in one service we'll have more kids in a classroom than another classroom. So we'll combine maybe and have there'll be like 3 or 4 kids total. So we'll put them in one classroom, let the other teachers go in and sit in the service. So thank you for that flexibility. Also keep that in mind as we are in a season, as many of you know, as all of you know, where there's a lot of uncertainty. There's a lot of questions. There's a lot of flexibility needed. And so thank you in advance for that. Continue to remain in that posture of humility and flexibility as we continue to navigate this time as well as we can.
Yes, definitely. Thank you. So one thing I wanted to talk to you guys about is the curriculum that we use. I know a lot of you are veteran teachers here at Liberti, but some are new, which awesome. And so I wanted to highlight what our curriculum looks like and what the overall vision is for this. We teach something that's called the Gospel Project. And it's really a cool curriculum where every story from the Old Testament, from Genesis on up, is shown in context of where the gospel is in that story. And there's one way that they highlight every week. It's called the Christ Connection. So every single week you have, no matter what story it is, you have where is Christ connected in that story. And this is the toddler lesson guide, but each one is catered to the age that you are teaching. And you'll be able to read through the story, figure out what the Christ connection is, and then it has all kinds of activities that you can use. I always send out in the email before the service, and I highlight the things that I have supplies for. So if I pick one craft over another, I'll tell you, hey, I do have supplies for this craft, but not for this one. So you'll see that before you come on Sundays. Right now we're not doing any crafts, nothing that we can share, but we do still do activities that the kids are able to do in the classroom, like they did measuring up on the, how tall they are, and there are just different little activities that you can still do, and I'll highlight those for you before you even come. So you can always take a look at this beforehand, but it's also super user friendly. So if you haven't seen it and maybe you're subbing and you're like, I haven't looked at the lesson, it's like a script. You can really just read it and it's just read and go. Just do it as you are there. So there is a link in the email also to the Gospel Project website. If you are interested in more, they have videos. They have some training on how to do the classrooms and like what's their big vision. They've got a really cool setup. So if you're interested in more information or you just want to check it out, that is also in the email that I sent.
Yeah, really helpful website. They have, as Paige was mentioning, even like each week's lesson, kind of a prep for teachers as you guys are going to go through that. So really helpful stuff. Hope you're encouraged by that as well. There's a personal devotion even for our teachers, for you as you are preparing this week. So really good stuff in that. How we normally schedule folks is through the Planning Center app or website. If you are not connected with Planning Center, we're going to put a link in the email that will help you get set up with Planning Center, but you'll get a request for dates to serve through Planning Center. And so the Services app, which is an app you can download in any app store, if you have a smartphone, helpful thing to see when you're scheduled, what service you're scheduled for you to accept or decline those requests to serve is going to be through Planning Center. So Paige, what if they get a request to serve, but it's, their kid gets sick Saturday afternoon or Saturday evening? What would they do in that situation?
In that situation, because we all have times where we last minute can't make it, preferably if you know you're not going to be there, you would just decline and let me know the reason. Hey, I'm out of town. I have a big thing going on that day. Just let me know and we can get that sorted out. If you do have to do it last minute, I'd say Friday night and on. I don't check my email all the time during the weekends. I don't know if you do. You maybe do. I don't always. Yeah. I don't always. So if you could text me, that would be really great, because I might not see an email if you email me on Saturday to let me know that you can't make it on Sunday. Yeah. So I totally understand. It's not a problem. You just need to text me so that I can see it and start making plans to fill your spot before Sunday morning.
Yeah, and if you can, like in Planning Center, if you can confirm or decline by Wednesday, Thursday at the latest, that helps us staff these positions well, find a replacement. If you know in advance, you can go in there for when you're scheduled. You can even block out specific weeks that hey, I've got a vacation coming up in December and I'm not going to be in town. I can go in and set my preferences where I'm out that week, so any attempt to schedule me will be declined on the front end. So that's a helpful way to do things. But if you can do that for us, that really helps us out a lot, so that we're making sure that we have the right amount of staff in each classroom being prepared for Sunday morning. As many of you know, like it's hard sometimes to be asked, but we also are really appreciative of those of you who have jumped in last minute, have left your left your family in the pew and come back and serve with us. We're really super grateful for that. So thank you for that. But please help us out as you are able to confirm and decline earlier on in the week. That makes things a little bit easier.
I can breathe.
Yeah.
So I'll just want to finish up by starting with some encouragement and telling you that I have been blown away by the generosity
Absolutely.
and true just servants' hearts that you guys have. It's incredible and really, really life-giving for me to watch you guys serve and feel the compassion that you have for our kids and for our families, me included, with my children as well. I want you to know how much of an impact you make, and I really want to encourage you that you are doing really good work, and it is really blessing our community in so many ways. As John said, I will continue to say it. Thank you for your flexibility, especially right now that we finally reopened for over a month now. We're still working on trying to get kids going, and in that vein, just know that I am praying for all the volunteers, and especially for those of you that aren't able to join us right now. My heart goes out to you. I know that it's really hard right now to be sequestered or quarantined more than you want to be, maybe not able to get back into community quickly. And I feel for you, and I want you to know that we're here to help if you need help, or just reach out to us for any questions or concerns. We are excited and hoping that you'll be able to join us again soon, so that we can start opening up more places and just seeing your beautiful faces back. But just as, for future flexibility, thank you for being gracious and showing us grace, as well as us trying to do the same for you. And we're just really excited for what is going to happen as we move out, hopefully, of this crazy season. I also want one fun thing to tell you, that if you ever see another volunteer doing something that you're just like, that was just amazing, I love that person did that, it really just blessed me, or it really blessed this child, or that parent walked away with a huge smile, would you tell me about it? I'd love to just give you guys little treats and thank yous in some special ways for watching how others are blessing each other. I think it would be a fun way for us to see the good in others, and just encourage that with the people that we volunteer with, because you guys are just constantly doing things that I think I would love to know about.
Yeah, thank you guys for that, for your time, your effort, your energies, your heart in this. Serving our kids is a gift, and it's a gift that we want to take seriously. We want to take the right amount of time and effort and energy to put into. We take this call to disciple children well, to teach them the truths of Scripture, to be even as we're kind of going through Judges right now, a generation that would not neglect the responsibility to share with the next generation the faithfulness of our God, the ways in which God has come in. He has saved us, He has sustained us. We want to be a people that continually retell this story to generation and generation, and it takes people who live this, who know this, and have a desire to see that truth passed on to the next generation. So thank you for that. We're grateful to God for the responsibility, that you have given us to do that faithfully. We take that very seriously, and we thank you for volunteering, for being a part of this ministry. And so, guys, thank you for sticking with us for this video. Shorter video than we would have had a meeting. So thanks for sticking out with us, and we hope you have a great week. Don't forget to make sure that you check this. Make sure that you've seen that you've read through the document. Send that info in. If you have any questions, send us an email. Paige@liberty.org, John@liberty.org. be glad to answer those questions, and hopefully you have no technical issues. But
of course not.
You will. So we'll wait for those. But
All right.
but thank you guys. God bless you, and have a great week.
Thanks.